Hello, Justin here with a suburban homestead update. So this here is my tool shed. This is my tool shed, which actually is, or a garden shed, some people might call it, but when we first, you've seen it in some of my previous videos, I'm sure, but when we first bought the house, I looked at that, I thought, ooh, this is a nice big shed here with a workshop type thing, workbench and everything. But I was like, this is a good little tool shed, but I'm pretty sure I can make this into a rabbit hutch. Because I had looked into raising meat rabbits before we started looking for houses, and you know, I knew kind of what I needed to make that happen. And so here we are, like 4.5 years later, or just a little over 4 years later. No, yeah, something like that. I'm finally getting onto it. It's been in the plans and in the works for a long time. And so, as you can see, I've already kind of begun. This is the door. It used to be on here, and I just took it off the hinges. Now, when I first moved in, there's a big piece of outdoor plywood sheeting that I got at the Habitat for Humanity Restore for $12, which I think was a pretty good buy. But when we first moved in here, and when we first toured it, there was no wall on the back here. It's been like that the whole time we lived here. But the roof was caved in, like it looked like a large branch had fallen on it, and it was smashed in, and then it had been that way for quite a while, I think, because it was all rotten. And so my friend Glenn came over and helped me put up this, cut some new beams, some ballasts maybe these are called, I'm not sure. But cut some new ones. We had to notch them out here to get them to sit on the post. That's how the old ones were. We just used the old ones as a template, but the old ones were pretty rotted out. So the end ones were still usable. But and then we put some just kind of scrap plywood in 3 segments here. We had to cut a little middle segment here, put that up, and then put some shingles on it. And so finally today it started. It's late January 2017. So far what I've been using this for is I have a couple galvanized trash cans in here that I keep chicken feed in, and you can hear I have some Foo Fighters playing in the background there coming from the workshop. And then I've been keeping this bale of straw in here for the chicken nests and whatnot, nesting boxes. So this is just a before kind of. I'll probably do some updates along this. It might take me, I don't know, a month or two, just doing this in my spare time, working on this. Basically my plans are I'm going to take all this off and save it, this front wall here, because it's already notched out, you can see there, for those beams. So it should match right up with the back side, so I can just flip those around. The back side is shorter, obviously, because the roof is slanted. So I'll just take a little bit off the bottom down there, and those notches should hopefully fit right in on the other side. We'll see. I'm sure I can make it work. I got the saw. But and then the whole front is just going to be open, and that's how a lot of rabbit sheds are. And then I'm gonna put a back wall on it, and then inside there's going to be 3 hanging wire cages with little slanted material between them for their poo and pee to roll down instead of falling onto the rabbit below it. And then I'm going to set up an automatic watering system, which will be elevated probably outside, maybe on either end here. It'll just be a bucket on a platform, a 5-gallon bucket that I'll fill with water that'll run to a tubing system that'll come down to nipple waterers on each cage, and so I'll just have to fill that one bucket, and it'll water them for quite a while. And then what else? Oh, on this side, I believe, because I think there's more room for it over here rather than cutting off this little corridor here. On this side here, I'm going to make a little, there was some like landscaping timbers right there, you can see, that were, maybe there was a little flower box there or something at some point. But I'm gonna just pack this down and level it pretty good, and I have some cinder blocks, some like pavers. I'm gonna put those down as a level surface, and then maybe put hack off a piece of a pallet. As you can see, I have a couple of pallets laying around. Hack off a piece of a pallet as a base, and then build up a box around that with a slanted lid. So it would be with a slanted box with a lid that's slanted on a hinge. It would open right there. And I'm going to keep those galvanized trash cans in that box for the rabbit feed and the chicken feed, and that way they'll stay nice and dry. I mean, they will in the galvanized can anyway, but I don't want them really just sitting out in the weather. It's not ideal. So yeah, that box there and the watering system and the 3 hanging wire cages. So this is the before kind of the job site. As you can see, I already got started, and then I realized, oh, I probably ought to take a video of this. And so yeah, this is going to be my meat rabbitry for feeding my family some very healthy and pretty cheap meat, with a pair of breeding rabbits, which I'm going to start with 2 pairs. With a pair of breeding rabbits, you can, in 1 year, you can produce more meat than you would from 1 cattle or 1 steer, on significantly less feed as well. So yeah, it's part of my suburban homestead here. You can see I've got the garden and a couple chicken coops. You've seen those before probably. So here's I don't do the selfie stuff often. Here's me with the future rabbit hutch. Early January, or late January 2017. We'll see how that turned out. So come along, I'll keep you updated. Bye-bye.